everybody, welcome to McFarland Minutes, our weekly podcast hosted by Natalie McFarland, me, and founder and president of McFarland Productions, and Scout Foster, our outreach marketing manager. In these episodes, you can expect deleted scenes, in-depth campaign reviews, project highlights, marketing concepts, book reviews, and a deep dive into the creative process at Off Your Rocker Films, and of course, invaluable lessons on mentorship, leadership, and the business of it all. We are so excited to be releasing our episodes every Sunday as your soft launch to Monday. Hey everybody, welcome. Episode of McFarland Minutes, your soft launch to Monday. We are excited to have you here at Flora-Bama.
You're probably worn out by now.
Oh man, it's been a hell of a week. You know, we've been working with Garrett Miles to film a music video out here, and we have had the absolute pleasure of working with Steve.
Yeah.
And you are the entertainment director, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Wasn't
says
want to
on my
get your
signature
title wrong.
on my email. Yeah.
But Steve has just been a class in hospitality and an absolute masterclass in the marketing and the strategy here behind Flora-Bama. So we are pumped to have you.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you all here. We had a great time. Garrett, I mean, just what a star he is.
Oh man, a talent.
Just one of those talents you're like, come on, make it happen for him. You know, you just end up rooting for a kid like that. But
for sure.
We had a good time in the Dome last night.
We did. Yeah. Steve put it together. We got to film. We put Garrett on stage with the Steve and Joe piano show.
Yeah.
Not this Steve. The
Right.
different
No,
Steve.
you don't want me playing anything.
I can play chopsticks, maybe.
Okay.
But we put Garrett on stage there and did some filming there in the Dome, and
So your expectations, you've never been here. Mm-hmm. Your expectations coming to the Flora-Bama versus how you know the Flora-Bama now. Were you close?
No. I underestimated it significantly.
Yeah.
I knew Flora-Bama was cool, right? Like, of course, everybody's seen the Kenny concert out there, and you know all the big stuff that happens, and knows that there's music all the time. And I think I told you when Kevin and I go on vacation, we're always looking for the live music and good food spot, right? So like Flora-Bama's right up our alley.
Yeah, you can spend a lot of time here. Well, we were happy to have you all. It was fun. It was great. So thanks for having me on today. This is awesome.
Yeah. So tell me about you. You've gone to iHeart. You worked for iHeart for quite a while.
I did.
Worked here for a while.
I
Tell me a little bit about you.
So started with iHeart when it was Clear Channel, when it was AM/FM. So the company changed hands, and then was in Pocatello, Idaho for about 10 years. And in '99, that's when iHeart was buying all the stations, and they had a lot of different markets open. And so they mentioned Pensacola, Florida to me, and I was just like, I've never been there, but let's go see.
Sun, beaches, and good fishing.
Yeah,
right?
we stayed out there for a week, and I'm like, okay, I guess we could do this, you know? So ended up in Mobile doing a lot of programming area for iHeart at the time. And then while I was there, we built an iHeart radio station called Flora-Bama Radio. And it's commercial free, it's classic rock country, and we get to feature a lot of artists from the Flora-Bama on that channel. So when I left iHeart, actually when I was asked to leave iHeart, yes, it's true, the natural move was to come out here to the Flora-Bama because we had a great relationship. They're great people. We see the owners all the time. This place is just amazing. It's one of those things where had I realized what I have now, I would have done it 10 years ago, for sure. It's a great place to work. There's some great people here.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about a lot with different brands that we get the opportunity to work with. Pendleton Roundup's one of these, Pendleton Whiskey's one of these. Mm-hmm. There's this like addictive following that kind of happens, and like you walk in the building and you can just feel it, right? It's something different about it.
Right.
Can you talk to that a little bit with Flora-Bama and like what makes Flora-Bama not just a bar or not just a music venue?
Honestly, what it really comes down to is the people. We wouldn't be what we are without people coming to see us all the time. And I think there's something there that once you get in here and you vacation down here and you're coming back next year, you're coming back to the Flora-Bama. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a lot of things. It's the live music, it's the entertainment, it's the events, it's everything that we do. We want to provide an experience, right? We want people walking out of here going, whatever it was, whether it was that artist or music bingo or they just did the Easter Bunny drop is coming up, and the Easter Bunny skydives into the beach.
World's coolest Easter Bunny.
It's really cool.
I'm a believer now.
We do it with Santa too. We call it Santa drop, and that happens too.
Amazing.
Santa skydives in, and all the kids are there, and then we put them in the tent, and they do photos and all. So we do about 182 events a year. So.
I mean, so over the last 3 days, 2 days, whatever we've been in Flora-Bama, I've learned about events that you guys do that are just like endless, right? You talked about the mullet toss. You talked about triathlon. You talked about now Santa drop. Who knew we
Right.
were dropping Santa out of the sky?
Right.
You know,
Only at the Bama.
how do you guys like, man, as an events director, how do you see something you're like, man, that would be a Flora-Bama? Like, how are you putting those events together?
So many of these events started back when the Flora-Bama became the Flora-Bama. Like Mullet Toss it'll be 41 years this year. And one of our original owners, who we still see, Pat McClellan, was at the bar talking to a couple of friends, and they were looking for event ideas. And his buddy was from Texas and said, we throw cow chips in Texas. And Pat said, well, we should just throw fish across the state line. And that's really how it started. And Pat will tell you there was 3 of them the first year, 300 the second year, 3,000 the third year.
My goodness.
And now it's the greatest beach party. It goes on. It's a long week.
For a staff.
It really
for
is.
sure.
And we have just an amazing event staff that's just so organized and great people to help us out. It's a well-oiled machine. It looks like a honky-tonk, but it's a really well-oiled machine that functions really, really well because of the people we have here. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that happen at the Flora-Bama, like the stage we're on right now. Kenny and David Lee Murphy came up here and sat on this stage and played. Jimmy Buffett's played on this stage. There's
Your songwriters deal in the fall.
the Frank Brown Songwriters it's amazing to me that we even pulled that off, because there's 200 songwriters in the span of 11 days.
That's wild.
And so we'll put them up here, 3 on the chairs, and they tell the story and sing the song. And it's been going on long enough that when people are in this room, they know to be quiet. And it's just, there's so much respect for the songwriters that they love it, and they love to come back, because that's what a songwriter wants, right? They want to tell the story. They want to sing the song that Kenny sings, but Brett James is up here, and he's the guy who wrote it, and he tells you the story behind it and how he connected with Kenny and all those things. So really, really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think what kind of gets me, right, and Pendleton Roundup kind of has a lot of this too, and I'm going to kind of align those two just because there's so many similarities, but there's so many traditions within the walls, right? Right down to how you make a request down there in the dome.
Right,
You know,
right.
like
You
from
saw
the
the
upper
bag.
deck. Like there's is it a Crown Royal bag is tied to a pulley system, and you can like pull that.
Yeah.
You guys have thought of everything, right down to like we're family. You guys are family friendly till 6, is that
We are,
right?
yeah.
Family friendly till 6. The oyster bar is rock star till 1 a.m. or whatever it was.
It does.
And not just oysters, and if you're not a fan,
Right.
the popcorn shrimp were amazing.
Yeah.
But
They do really well there. With our culinary team is spot on. And when we do other events in the tent, we'll cater buffet style out in the tent. So I don't know if we talked about Thanksgiving and Christmas, but Thanksgiving and Christmas are both potluck. So if you bring a side dish, you come into the Flora-Bama, you eat in the tent with everybody. There's 6-foot tables lined with people's side dishes. We cook turkeys and ham. And for Thanksgiving last year, it was 850 people we served. And then Christmas, it was around 500 and some. But that all started when the original owner of the Flora-Bama, Joe Gilchrist, wanted to let NAS and the guys who work there and the ladies who work there, give them something to do for Thanksgiving, because they're not around their families.
Yeah.
And so he would actually run buses from NAS to here for the potluck.
I think what's cool about the potluck piece is that that's what a family would do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's a family feel.
It is.
And that's a very different thing for a venue like this to do, right? Like that is a way to create this following that feels so much a part of it, right? Like when you walk in these walls, you handed me a marker earlier, and you're like, this is the official. I can't wait to sign this wall somewhere, right?
So that's another thing. When you come back, you're going to see if your signature is still where you left it, or if we had built something and painted over it, and then you get to sign it again. So that's
somebody covered it up and wrote something
right,
else.
Right, yeah. We have Miss Denise is one of our MODs, and a lot of people write things on the wall at the Flora-Bama that can be a little offensive. They draw certain parts of anatomy on the wall.
Sure.
And she is amazing at turning those into flowers. She'll go around and find them.
Let's
make this a flower. Oh, look, it went from this to this. Amazing. So, yeah. Writing on the walls has been, a forever thing here.
Yeah.
It really has.
So I have to ask you, have you ever read the book Unreasonable Hospitality?
I have not read that one.
It is, you guys are a masterclass
Really?
in that. So Unreasonable Hospitality is one of my favorites. And
Okay.
I have this thing where I'm an audiobook listener, but if I like a book, I'm going to buy the hard copy.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
That one's on my shelf.
Okay.
It's about a 5-star restaurant in New York City. So very different setting.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think I like so much about Flora-Bama is like, you even said it yourself, like you are in the hospitality business.
Yes.
But our experience with you this week has been over the top, right? Like I've never had a director, helping us move a fan and making sure we've got like the mics all out of the way and stuff.
Right,
Usually
right.
it's like, yeah, you can use it, bye,
Right, right. Yes.
So like that, tell me a little bit about like, what does hospitality mean at the Flora-Bama and how do you guys work through that?
Our conversation is everybody here, including musicians and guests, are honored guests. They chose to come here. There's so many places you can go down here, but we want to provide them that unbelievable experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want them to be treated so well. If they spill a drink, we'll get you a new one, kind of thing. There's never questions about that, right? We just want the customers to be happy because customers for life, you get them once and you give them that good experience, they're going to come back. And that's really what it is. It's just how you want to be treated when you go into a restaurant or a bar or a setting like this. That's our mindset going into it, for sure.
Yeah. You guys even went so far as to reposition a portion of your staff, which would normally be bouncers or security, right? Like these big, intimidating guys. Can you talk about that?
They're customer service. They have customer service written on their backs. I think the greatest thing about the Bama is that everybody is here on vacation. Everybody's in a good mood. No one's here to stir it up, right? But if they do, we're really good at diffusing immediately. So there's no, I can't tell you last time they had to break up a fight here. I mean, it's happened because it's a bar and people are drinking, but people are here just to have a good time. And as long as we keep that in mind, you can't smoke in this room. You can't smoke in the main room. It's just what it is. But if you do, and you didn't know that, they just kindly remind you. It's not like, get out, you can't do that. It's treat everybody with respect. And
Yeah.
I think we do a pretty good job of that for the most part.
Man, right down to the lovely Miss Linda down there at Bag Check.
Isn't she awesome?
I
Miss
just
Linda's
love
amazing.
her.
She
just love
is
her.
amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We do a musicians dinner every year to honor our musicians in the tent, and I always go around and do weirdest thing you found in your tip jar. So we'll put some videos together. And so I went to Miss Linda, and we were talking about, she's a bag check, right? And I said, "What's the weirdest thing you found
Oh no.
in someone's bag?" And she's like, "Oh, I can't say that. I can't say that." I was like, it's okay. So we had Jennifer with us. I said, just whisper it to Jennifer. So she whispered it, and Jennifer's like, "Oh, okay." And it was a personal device, if you will.
I
right?
was-
in a woman's purse.
Yeah.
And we said, "Miss Linda, did you have her take it back to the car?" And she goes, No, I told her it wasn't a weapon. She could hang on to it.
I mean, I
Yeah.
suppose it's not,
Yeah, but she's so non-aggressive in checking bags, because a lot of times you can go into a place.
And it's almost uncomfortable. Right? It's
Uncomfortable,
almost
right?
abrasive to
Right,
have someone
right.
like looking through your stuff. And
Yes.
You're achieving the same thing, right? Safety,
Absolutely.
making sure there's no weapons in there or something.
But her
illegal.
technique is so sweet and innocent. She said, "I'm just going to check your bag for guns and weapons. Hold on, honey." And she's real sweet about it. And I think we realized the ladies in the gift shop, Miss Linda, is the first point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's a bad experience, they are going to find other things that make it a bad experience. But if you start with treating them like gold, and we're so glad you're here and come on in, people don't complain that much,
Yeah. So let's talk some just like general stats, right?
Okay.
So I didn't realize that the Flora-Bama was more than just these stages.
Right.
Like when you walked us across the street, can you tell us a little bit about what's all over there?
Yeah, so we have 3 stages here in the Bama: the Dome, this main room, and the tent. And then if you walk down to the Gulf of America, there's a beach bar and a beach stage out there as well. And then across the street, there's a restaurant at Old River Grill and at Yacht Club. And so like today, music starts at noon, and in here, 1 in the Dome, noon on the beach, afternoons at the restaurant. So we book so many musicians, it takes that many stages to get it done. We're about 3,500 plus for musicians a year we book here.
That's a wild figure.
It really,
that's
yeah.
a lot of people to manage, or a lot of acts to manage.
It really is. It really is. But our goal is to, when they play here, they have such a good experience, they want to come back. And when an artist leaves here, if they come in from Nashville, Birmingham, Muscle Shoals, wherever, and come and play, it's the same concept, right? They're going to go back and talk to musician friends and be like, you got to go play at the Bama. This is the greatest, right? So I think that all developed with John and Cam. John McGinnis and Cam Price came in the ownership team probably about 12 years ago. And at that time, we didn't have anything across the street, but they had a plan in place. And so they built a restaurant, built another one. Now we have the marina that has 25 pontoons and 20 jet skis, the liquor store, which was the original reason the Flora-Bama was here, is the liquor store, because it was across the state line.
Yeah, Kevin bought a sun shirt, and on the back of it's like the original Bama.
Yes,
right? So that's pretty cool.
The original Bama.
Well, maybe not the original, but the original concept.
The original Bama. Yeah, you should see some photos and videos. It was a cinder block building, and people from Alabama would come to Florida to buy their beer on Sundays. And then they started adding live music and having people stay. And that's really how it all came about.
Yeah, so like the Bama is a bar, is a nightclub, is a place to come watch music, but it's really like you could start here at 9:30 in the morning, enjoy the beach all day, go out on the water sports stuff, enjoy the restaurants across the street,
Right.
see 5-6 artists in a day pretty easily. And like have an experience that's family friendly till 6, and then party all night if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, and some people do that too much, right?
Yeah.
But it's easy, and I think I said it to you last night. I said, "Do you know it's 8:40?"
Oh man, yeah, and I almost didn't believe you. I was
like,
like, it feels like 10. We had a packed house in there.
We did.
Even at like 7, I feel like we really kind of got quite a few people in there. I guess maybe before that, because we had a packed house even for the intermission, right, where we did Garrett's video.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty sweet.
You build it, they will come. It's a great entertainment place for sure, and there's something really for everybody. Like you said, it's not just a bar.
What do you think any company? Because I think that there's a lesson to be learned from a well-executed marketing, a well-executed event, a well-executed, little nuances, like just a venue, right? Like there's something to be learned about how you do business and how success comes. What do you think the number one thing is someone should take away from the Bama?
The experience, the customer service, the good times. That's really it. That's what we need to provide, to have people have a good time, tell their friends about it, want to come back the next year. We realize that people save all year for vacation, and they choose this place, Orange Beach Gulf Shores, to come down, and we're very grateful for that. And I think that's really the mindset. We cater to them. We do our best to provide a great experience for them and have a good time, and we want them to come back.
Yeah, man, we align from a mindset perspective so well. So McFarland Productions, we internally call it "Here Buy This" culture, and we don't want that, right?
Right.
Please don't tell me about the thing that I'm supposed to buy, but worry about why do I even care? What is the experience that you're going to achieve through that? And a class in that. Bama is.
And I think even the younger generation now is looking for that experience instead of just looking for a place to come drink with friends. I think they want that experience. I mean, look at all the festivals, look at the things that go on. And we've got to find a way to keep them wanting to come here too.
Yeah, speaking of the younger generation,
yes,
we talked about this last night, but what's so cool is to watch somebody in their 20s and then somebody in their 60s, word for word, the same song, right? Probably 70s, 80s music.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
But your artists do such a great job of making that interactive and being part of it. Yeah. And old Galileo boy last night was cracking me up.
I know, right?
Bohemian Rhapsody, But
yeah.
How do you guys cultivate that culture where it's an all ages sort of thing? Because for everyone's hard.
It is, but I think there's enough options when you get here that you can take the kids to the beach and the parents can have a bushwhacker while you're sitting on the beach with the kids. I think that's a good thing. I think when it goes back to the music, that everybody loves music, right? And our artists figure out how to read the room and cater to the room. And let's be honest, if you just sit here on a stool and play song after song and there's no engagement, there's probably not going to be a lot of tips coming your way. So the more I engage, if I'm an artist, with people, and what do you really want to hear and where you're from, right? It's the engagement that people want. They don't walk in here to want to sit down by themselves at the bar. They want engagement.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things. You never know who you're sitting by at the Flora-Bama. It could be all walks of life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always how it's been for 61 years now.
Yeah,
So.
I loved watching last night. You know, there's an upper deck, there's booths in the back, and then there's the floor, which always the floor is, you know, the party crowd, right?
Right.
But what I love to see is the booths were also the party crowd.
They're standing
right?
up.
Like they were also part of it too.
Oh, yeah.
And like the engagement from a whole nother story. You know, usually you go into a concert venue, if there's an upper deck, not much engagement happening on the upper deck.
No, they're leaning over the
there
rail watching what's going on.
Up there, they were like throwing their arms up and, you know, cheering with it.
Yeah, we've had enough big shows there that people realize the top deck is a pretty cool place to watch that show.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
For someone who hasn't ever been here, right? I think something that I didn't realize is really how small the venues are. But what I love about that is that you are interacting all the way to the back of the room, all the way to the upper deck.
Right.
How big is that room down there for someone who's not been here?
So we can probably get 120, 130 in this room. In the dome, between upper and the booths and that, you're probably looking at 400.
Yeah.
To where it's still comfortable. And again, we don't want to overpack the room so it's an uncomfortable situation.
Right.
And we don't want you to have to wait in line forever to get a drink. So that's why there's so many bars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the tent for standing, we can do between 650 and 700 in there. And so we have a big show coming up with Craig Campbell for St. Jude next Saturday night. And so that'll be a standing room. But again, that's another one of those experiences where we're going to get you the experience. You're going to give money to St. Jude. We're going to help raise money. So many things happen about the Flora-Bama and how it was built because there's so much charity. The mullet toss, right? Let's say you have 3,500 people that throw fish that weekend, and they all buy a T-shirt for $25. We don't take any of that money. All of that money gets split up on both sides of the line, Boys and Girls Club, and we write checks to organizations. Any event we do has a charity attached to it. And I think that's just part of being the Bama, part of the community, and supporting everything around us as much as we can. And so, again, we didn't invent that. That started a long time ago with Pat McClellan and Joe Gilchrist. And John and Cam were smart enough to see it and go, this is how we have to continue to do it, right?
Yeah.
And they came in here, John and Cam, they're amazing people, successful on their own in their own mind before they even got here. And they didn't have any bar, restaurant experience. But they were smart enough to delve in and do every position here, from bar back to bartend to marketing to everything that's here. And it really helped them learn and you know, them just carrying on, this is the way we need to do business.
Sometimes you could, like, if you put yourself physically, actually, in that position, you can find where the pain points are, right?
100%.
And like, if you're a creative person, which clearly the ownership of Flora-Bama is, you know, you can alleviate some of that for your staff and for your crowd. You know, when you've got happy staff, which only makes happy crowds.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. They get it for sure, and then it's from the top down. You know, that's definitely how we all want to do this. My favorite thing here, I love the bands, I love the entertainment, but I really love standing down there outside the gift shop, and you can tell when no one's been here before, because they're just like, what is going on? They're looking around like, where do we even go? What do I do? And that's my favorite, to say, where are you from? First time here, and then say, we've only been here 60 years. I can see why you couldn't be here yet. I mean, 60 years, come on. And then we tour and walk around and get to tell stories and look at the pictures. I mean, you can look at the history that's on the walls in here and just, it's mesmerizing, the things that have happened in this room.
Man, yeah. I mean, Flora-Bama is full of history and full of creative solutions, you know, and I think it's pretty cool.
Well, I'm glad you got to experience it, and you have to come back.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to bring the team.
You're members now.
Oh,
you got membership
that's pretty
cards.
Cool. That's awesome.
Those are great. Like mullet toss, it'll be a $15 cover to get in, but not with those. Right?
Mullet toss here.
You don't pay a cover charge anytime when you have a membership. Unless we're doing like a Craig Campbell show or something like that.
Sure.
And then also there's a membership line, because when it gets super busy at night, the line will wrap kind of around the building to get in, but we keep a membership line open so you don't have to wait in line. So membership has its privileges.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be back for sure. Kevin and I were talking about bringing the team, you know.
Yeah.
The
Well,
two of our employees are Floridians originally. So.
take a look at the event calendar that we have and the things going on, and you just kind of pick and choose. The bikini contests are very interesting.
I bet
we
they're
still
entertaining.
do those. We still do the bikini contests.
I mean, if you're a bar on the beach, can you not?
No, we kind of have to.
Yeah.
We kind of have to.
It's
and then
required.
And then we added a hot body contest for guys too.
I mean,
So
you can't miss out on the guys.
dad
too.
bod wins every time. I'm telling you.
Yes, that's great.
It's great. So that's a fun aspect of it too. We do 4 of those a year actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What keeps, spending the last few days with you, you're just such an inspired, positive, excited about your work position. What keeps you that way? What makes you so inspired?
It's just such a great place to work. We have long days. There are some long days. There's no doubt.
That is
right?
event work, whether you're at the venue or doing something pop up,
I would really say it comes back to the family, if you will, and that's how we refer to everybody who is here. You're part of the family, and I think we treat each other that way. It's always a great time to come here. There's always something. It's something different every day. A different artist, a different customer. People you saw last year that come back and you remember them, and we made that connect. It's a wonderful place to work, and they treat us so well.
Yeah.
They really do. They care about us. I mean, they really care about us.
That's a big deal. Company culture is like number one.
Right. So I left iHeart. In the first 2 months I was here, they had a big retirement party for Monica. She worked in the accounting office for 42 years here.
My goodness. You guys have some long run people.
We do. And they had a big retirement party out in a tent. It was food and drink and just come say bye to Monica. And it was the coolest thing to me because I was at iHeart for 20 some years and never attended a retirement party.
Oh, yeah.
That corporate,
big, spread out.
Right.
Yeah, all the things.
You could look at this place and be like, wow, what a corporation. It's not. It's not. It's run very well. But the number one thing, the ownership team and leadership team and executive team is about our people. It's gotta take care of our people.
That's the definition of leadership.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And turnover is a big thing. You spend enough money to train them, get them in the system, take a lot of time, and then they decide to not work here. We lose money doing that.
Yeah.
So I think from the very start, we know when we have new employees. Pat McClellan, if you wear your name tag, he'll give you a $2 bill most of the time. So just think of that, right?
Yeah, little things.
Instead of mandating you have to wear your name tag, he catches you doing something good and gives you a $2 bill.
Oh, man.
And it's simple, right?
That needs to be written in a book.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because, I'm going to wear my name tag. If I see Pat today, I make it $2.
Yeah.
And they're $2 bills. He always has a stack of them. He always does. It's
That's
great.
cool.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
that it's a $2 bill.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So we do something with our guests on
Okay.
the podcast, and we kind of call it the soft launch to Monday. In your case, it's probably not Monday that you're soft launching to because this
Not
is
sure what day
event
it
work.
is. Yeah.
But basically what we're talking about is, on Sunday night, is there a ritual or whatever your Sunday night is, right? Is there a ritual, something that you reset your week with, right? Like it can be personal. It can be going to church or I think one of our employees said washing their hair on Sunday night, right down to, can I quickly go through my inbox and see if I can clear that out? And how do I get my head on straight for whatever Monday looks like at an event center?
So I don't think we talked about this, but we do have church here at the Flora-Bama in the tent. There's 2 services. It's worship on the water, 9 and 11 every Sunday. And there's 400 or 500 people at each service. And it's amazing. You wouldn't think church at a bar makes sense, but it really does make sense because church and God and doesn't have to be in a certain building. It's wherever you choose to have it. And so people come here for that. My Sundays are generally looking at the acts that are coming in for the next week and who's going to be here. And do I text them and say, let's grab lunch? Or I want to see when they're playing so I can show up at their show and support them. So it's a lot of that. And then the events. It's like, how many events do we have? And April's crazy. After Mullet Toss, there's probably days where I can't think about the place. I have to we'll go see the grandbabies in Spanish Fort. Or, you have to reset. So I think that's it. Just look at what's coming up for the month, and more importantly, strategically, what's this week and where can I make a difference, whether it's with an artist or with an event that we have, where can we really focus our efforts to, again, give that great experience.
Yeah,
so.
man. Well, thank you. I appreciate your
Thank
time
you.
today, and I know you're a busy man, and this
Oh,
is an
not at all.
incredible place.
I love
and
doing
things
this.
running around
I love
all
doing
over,
this.
you know. But we appreciate you.
Any of your guests ask you questions?
Sometimes,
Okay.
once in a while.
All right. I got to do this. This is the one I do with the musicians.
Okay.
Okay.
I might not be as cool as a musician.
You will. You'll have great ones. I wrote them down just so I'd have them for sure, so I don't forget them.
Okay.
There's just 5.
Okay.
And they're pretty easy.
Deal.
And you have to make a decision.
Okay.
Puppies or kittens?
Puppies.
Same. You have dogs?
Yes, we have 2, and they're basically my kids. I
Aren't
love
they
them.
awesome?
Yeah. We have a border collie named Caliber, or Pokey. Cowpoke, if you really want to get into it.
Wow.
And then we have a Patterdale Terrier named Grip, and she is a puppy. She's
Run
only
and
a
run.
year old.
I bet they
and she's
run
fun.
and run, don't they?
Yeah,
They
she's
have
really
to.
fun,
Yeah.
but she's a lover.
I'm going to show my age with this next one. Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. Really?
Yeah, hands down.
Just
The Beatles have done some incredible things for music, and
Right.
I have a lot of admiration for them, but I'm probably not going to play Beatles
Gotcha.
on a regular basis.
I'm with you. Best concert you've ever attended?
Ooh, best.
And it can be one that you've filmed. It can be one that you've just gone to as a patron and loving, or what?
I think this one's it's gonna surprise you.
Okay.
I think it's actually Blanco Brown.
Really?
And it's because he has such an engagement with the crowd.
Yeah.
And like afterwards, the guy hops off stage, and goes backstage, gets changed, and then he just goes straight out into the festival.
And hangs out.
30 minutes after he just played, right? So what happens? He gets mauled. And, we see this happening. We run over there. We're like, hey, were you like after some food or something? Can we go get it? So we ran
Right.
and got him an elephant ear, one of our
Yeah,
employees,
yeah.
Stephanie. And he's just so real.
But how
and
cool
a
it-
wicked talent.
And that's why you love a talent, because they're real when you actually get to meet them.
Yes.
It's like a Post Malone thing for me,
Yeah.
right? It just
Yeah.
incredibly nice and generous and,
Yeah.
and always great.
Neil McCoy too.
Neil McCoy is awesome.
Just a good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
The last thing that you bought on Amazon?
Airplane parts.
Airplane parts.
Airplane parts.
You're
yeah.
a pilot.
Yes.
You and Kevin are pilots.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're refurbishing. Well, I shouldn't say refurbishing.
Okay.
We're kind of bringing back to life a plane that my family's had for before I've been alive.
Is there anything on Amazon you can't buy?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't found something yet.
I mean, that's just airplane parts. That's the coolest one I've
yeah,
heard.
I think it was paint for the wheels. We're repainting the wheels because they're
Awesome.
needing some love.
We're going to figure out your rap name.
Oh boy.
It starts with Lil.
Okay.
The second part of your rap name is the last thing that you purchased. What is the last thing that you purchased?
Flora-Bama T-shirt.
Okay, so you are
Lil Flora-Bama.
Lil Flora-Bama.
I
like
mean,
that
I don't
one.
hate that.
Right, I don't either. I think it's great. I think it's
keep
great.
that. I'm gonna keep
Absolutely.
that.
Well, we appreciate having me on here and being here this week. It's been a joy having you and Kevin around, and
Oh man, likewise.
I'm excited for you to come back.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Bring the team. We'll have some fun.
We will.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Steve.